A former member of the House of Representatives, Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Erewa, today filed a libel suit against Diamond Bank and the Punch newspapers. Mrs. Dabiri-Erewa told the Lagos State High Court, Igboshire, that the bank and the newspaper wrongfully accused her of owing 122 million naira. Diamond Bank on the 4th of August had published her picture as a director of thriller endeavors, which she claims she has never heard of. She's praying the court to compel the bank to publicly apologize and also pay damages running to 500 million naira.
On the 4th of August, I just woke up in the morning to see my picture in the front page of the Punch newspaper calling me a debtor, that I'm part of a firm owing Diamond Bank 122 million naira. And I immediately got in touch with my lawyers to find out first and foremost about this company. And I'm glad to say that when the lawyers came up with the CTC document from the Corporate Affairs Commission on the company, I'm not listed as a director in the company. So how come my name was listed as a director in the company that I've never heard about, that I don't know anything about, and it's caused me irreparable damage. It has totally embarrassed me. I found it very, very shocking. And I just feel that the best thing to do is to seek legal redress in court. And that is why we're here today. And my lawyers are demanding for 500 million naira compensation from Diamond Bank and from the Punch newspaper for doing that. In the case of the Punch newspaper, yes, the publication was a Diamond Bank publication. But if you are singling me out and putting my picture in the front page of your paper, the correspondent should have just followed the ethics of the profession and asked from me just a simple question, maybe an SMS, that your name is being listed as a debtor. Are you aware of this? What is your reaction? Just one paragraph would have solved this problem.
It's more than 2 weeks since several people took ill while some slumped after an air pollution accident occurred in the Jos South local government area of Plateau State. The reason for the disaster has been linked to the leakage of gas chlorine from a water treatment plant which has been in the area for over 40 years. On our big story tonight, we bring you an update on the story on what the government is doing to dig out details about the incident.
The Laminga water treatment plant located along the Dogon Karfi Abattoir Bukuru Expressway in Jos South local government area of Plateau State, north-central Nigeria, was established in 1972 with an expected production of 4.5 million gallons of water per day for distribution to residents of Jos and Bukuru metropolis respectively. For the past 43 years, the plant has been supplying potable drinking water without much ado, until recently when an industrial accident occurred at the plant which had attracted criticism, comments, as well as a series of investigative committees set up to ascertain the causes of the chlorine gas cylinder leakage. The total number of those that died in the chlorine gas leakage still remains shrouded in secrecy, with some victims buried according to Islamic rites immediately the incident occurred, while others were deposited at the mortuary. Ifelunwa Achudume, 27-year-old University of Jos political science student, could not join her mates in the ongoing examinations, having lost the battle of life while trying to escape from the choking poisonous chlorine gas. At the residence of the Nwosus, members of the family are still experiencing respiratory ailments, even as sympathizers poured in to commiserate with the family on the death of 20-year-old Samuel in the unfortunate leakage scenario.
Samuel was also sleeping, when all of us rushed out. We didn't know anything had gone, just like other children were also sleeping too. We didn't notice anything till the next morning. When they now call him out to come and bath, he didn't come out, so the mother went in and carried him from the bed and discovered that he could not stand up. He collapsed.
Not only did humans suffer the effect of the chlorine gas leakage, even plants were not spared. with vegetation spread over 200 meters radius affected by the poisonous gas, which has some effect on the respiratory organs.
If for any reason the air becomes polluted by some other gas, now the proportion of the oxygen in that air becomes reduced and may get to the point that it is no longer enough for the energy generating metabolism. When this happens, the individual will suffocate because he doesn't get enough oxygen again.
In order to uncover the circumstances that led to the industrial accident, the federal and Plateau state governments have set up investigative panels to look into the causes of the leakage with a view to prevent future occurrences, even as relevant ministries and parastatals are looking into ways of avoiding another incident. Though the various committees and plans set up to investigate the immediate and remote causes of the water treatment chlorine gas leakage might not bring back to life those that are dead, the reports and recommendations can prevent recurrences.
Well, it's time now for business news, and here's Anne Nwawudu.
You first. First Bank.
Hello, welcome to Business News. Nigeria's High Commissioner to Singapore, Ambassador Nonye Rajis Okpara, has expressed her disappointment at some Nigeria's ministries and parastatals for failing to conclude some bilateral agreements with Singapore. Speaking to Channel's television business correspondent Hempula Shaju in the Southeast Asian country, the ambassador says this year's Nigeria-Singapore Business and Investment Forum was expected to consolidate the air service and investment guaranteed agreements between both countries. According to her, the absence of Nigerian representatives at the forum has sent a wrong signal to Singaporean investors.
This forum was supposed to have signed the BASA, which Nigerian government, the BASA agreement had been abandoned by our government for the last 10 to 12 years. And I promised Singapore authority that we are very serious in taking our business relationship to the next level. And then during my time, we're going to make sure that both sides conclude this agreement. And we saw to it that Nigeria did what they had to do. BASA was eventually concluded. Singapore were very excited about signing it. They wrote Nigerian government, and we agreed that this BASA will be signed at the sideline of the forum. The Ministry of Aviation confirmed, wrote and verbally, and we passed that on to the Singaporean government. The NYPC, that is supposed to be the key driver in conjunction with the Ministry of Trade and Industry, agreed that we're going to initial the IGA, the second agreement, concluded that, sent a letter to that effect, sent delegation list. Few days to this conference, they were not able to honor that agreement. And it's like we have taken 1 step forward, or 10 steps forward, and see ourselves coming backwards. And such things actually does not give Nigeria a good image.
Central Bank of Nigeria says the decision by many banks to reject foreign currency cash deposits into the customers' domiciliary accounts is a welcome development. In a circular released by the Director in charge of Trade and Exchange Department of the Apex Bank, Mr. Olakomi Gbadamosi, the CBN states that the action is aimed at stopping illicit financial flows into the banking system. The CBN advises individuals that wish to source foreign currency for eligible and legitimate purposes like BTA, PTA medical, mortgage, school fees, among other things, to do so through recognized channels with the use of Form A and M. The Kaduna state government has announced the closure of all its accounts with commercial banks in order to adopt a single treasury account that will be domiciled with the Central Bank of Nigeria. In a statement issued by the Senior Special Assistant to the State Governor on Media and Publicity, Samuel Aruwan, The government says the affected banks to remit the balances of the state deposits to the Central Bank of Nigeria, and this will be in the custody of the state's single treasury accounts from September the 1st, 2015. According to the statement, Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai gave this directive during a meeting with officials of all the banks hosting the state government's revenue and expenditure accounts, and even CBN officials. The statement further explains that the state government will later open specified sub-accounts with the CBN and other commercial banks. The upward trend continued at the Nigerian Stock Exchange today as equities gained 0.29% to close at 31,495.7 points. Bolaji Akinwale has the rest of the day's closing figures.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Nigeria's equities market continues to trade in the positive territory, gaining another 0.29% at 31,495.73 points. Nigeria Brewers gained 0.64% to 134 naira 72 kobo. Mobil appreciated 3.33%, while PZ's 10% gain pushed its share price up to 33 naira. Forte Oil lost 1.45%, down to 200 naira. 7-Up shed 1.28%, while Flour Mills had 4.99% of its share price shaved off by investors. Transactions on Continental Insurance, Guaranty Trust Bank and FBN Holdings pushed up volumes. Investors exchanged 126 million of Continental Insurance shares, 65 million shares of Guaranty Trust Bank were traded, while 57 million of FBN Holdings shares were exchanged today. By the close of trading, 532 million shares had been exchanged for 5.3 billion naira in 4,402 deals. And that's a check on the day's closing figures. I am Bolaji Akinwale.
Thanks a lot, Bolaji. That's it on Business News. I'm Anne Nwawadu. The rest of the news at 10 continues with Bimbo.
You first. First Bank.
Still ahead on the news at 10. Nigeria's Super Eagles move up 4 places in the latest FIFA ranking of football nations. Please stay with us.